Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the College Cardball channel. It is CRL Week 3. It is the B stream. We've got a lot of fun Collegiate Rocket League ahead for you. My name is Hunted. With me tonight is Squid. And Squid, we've got a good matchup upcoming. Penn State versus OSU Scarlet. They're fighting for a position in that top 8. This is a must-win for both teams.
Oh yes, Hunted, and I feel like this is going to be the match to watch tonight, so if you're thinking about clicking away, don't do that, because this is the one. Hunted just said they're fighting for a top 8 spot. They are, I mean, it is literally neck and neck. OSU Scarlet currently sitting right outside of the standings, tied with the OSU Gray team, ironically, at 6-6, just below 8th place Waterloo Warriors at 7-7. For Penn State, they're 5-6. Neither team can really afford to lose this match here, so it is going to be a tooth and nail battle.
Yeah, both teams, they're literally one position off in the standings. I believe Scarlet is sitting at 10th, Penn State at 11th, and whoever wins this head-to-head is going to look very, very good at potentially grabbing that 8th or 7th place spot. They've got to win out on their games for the remainder really to secure it, but this is where it all starts. And Squid, I'm interested in your thoughts. Who's the player to watch tonight?
All right, well, I have to say, you know, I've played with Vortex for a while, so for me personally, I think that everyone but Vortex is the player to watch. I hope he rewatches this and sees me say that.
I hope he does.
I really do hope that. But honestly, there's so many powerful names on the field that it's hard to say who's the one to watch. I'm looking at right now: Rem, Sleppy, Masseter, Vortex, and Frau. I mean, let's just think about that. Yeah, basically everybody. I mean, so did I miss Tennis Master also? I feel like I missed Tennis Master.
Miss Tennis Master.
Yeah, Tennis Master also out there. So strong names on the field. Although, if I had to give my prediction, I think OSU is going to be able to take this one. They have a pretty strong synergy.
Well, we are getting ready for game number 1 between these two teams. Make sure to tweet at us using the hashtag CRL19. Get your thoughts heard. You could show up on stream here potentially, but we are underway. Game number 1, and that is a quick goal by the man you left out, Tennis Master, on the board early.
Okay, I may have left out the first time, but I did it the second time, and this is why I made sure to remember Tennis Master. Even if I risked, if I had said him the first time, I risked saying it again, just to be sure, right? So, I want you to remember that, Hunted.
Well, Tennis Master, you got the first goal of the game. Only 8 seconds in, puts Penn State up 1-0. Now Penn State threatening again. Rem is going to keep the ball in. 3v2 comes hard off the back wall. Frau's going to turn, but Masseter is there first. Tennis Master to keep it in. A quick cycle from Penn State, but it could get punished here. Masseter down the pitch, but it is just wide. You can see Penn State already looking to be aggressive in this game.
And OSU getting their first offense here. And Vortex actually will put that one through. Just taking that pass from his teammate.
This is a save that I think needs to be made. It looks like Rem takes this away from Tennis Master, who could have touched that back out towards his teammate. But either way, it's 1-1. Barely 40 seconds old here in game 1. We'll see who can break this early tie. It's going to fall into the Scarlet zone. There's Frau looking for Tennis Master. Quick shot. Good save. Rem the follow. He'll score. 2-1 now for Penn State. Not even a minute old.
Yeah, not much you can do if you're in Vortex spot right here. Having to come across and guess where Rem is going to place that one. And honestly, the positioning there by Rem, realizing that Vortex couldn't get around back to that back post. Great awareness throwing that one behind the defender.
Well, it's 2-1. About 4 minutes left here in game number 1, and quick start for Penn State. Can they make it 3-1? Masseter's going to win that challenge, but it does come out towards Frau. Not quite on goal. It is wide, but this is wide open for Tennis Master. He gets his second.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly happened to the OSU defense here. Frau getting this double touch, forces Sleppy, and actually Vortex caught going for boost, assumed the third man was there. And unfortunately assumed wrong, and it cost him a goal.
That it did, and we'll have to see how Scarlet responds to this. Being down 3-1, not even 2 minutes into game number 1, it's Bit of a red flag, but then again, you never know. Could be nerves, could be a little bit of a feeling out process. We'll just have to see how they take it to this Penn State team. Sleppy's going to be in the corner now. He's looking for a pass. There's nobody there. Bit of a double commit, though. Could give them the ball back. Great follow on that one from Rem. Master gets it by 2. Small touch off the ceiling gives Tennis Master a little bit of trouble. Will fall harmlessly to the blue corner where Penn State eventually gets a clear.
And double commit by the Buckeyes Scarlet roster there, though. A bit worrying. I was talking about how their synergy has been one of the most valuable tools. That stands true for both the Gray and Scarlet rosters, in my opinion. But unfortunate to see they've had a couple of issues so far. Kind of worried to see if that's going to become a bigger problem than it already is.
Here's a play. Tennis Master directs it towards the net. It is well wide, however. Crow in the corner waiting for the play. Goes over top of Rem. Now to the blue zone we go. Sleppy will be the first one there. Massiter looking for the deflection. Great save by Crow to take that away. And Tennis Master will follow up on the clear.
Definitely a clear and present threat for Ohio State. Trying to make that passing play, or at least the assisted shot there in front of the net. Blocked away just barely, but they're starting to move out a little bit more onto the offense here. Vortex looking for the double touch. Doesn't have much to work.
One falls lightly down in front. Played away by Rem. Back out towards the mid where Frau is looking to get aggressive, but he can't get Massiter on that play. Rem doesn't get the touch. Sleppy, the easiest goal of his career. It's 3-2.
Yeah, I think that's really the key. Rem just not making the touch on the back wall. Both of his teammates counted on that one. It did look like there was a bit of interference. Tennis Master getting bumped by Sleppy, who then moved to follow up on the shot. 2 minutes left to go. And Ohio State reduced the deficit to 1. Definitely doable here, but that backflip's not going to help Vortex force to play into his own corner.
Interesting to note the shot differential. While it's felt like Penn State has spent a decent amount of time in the orange zone, with that last shot, shots are now tied, and now they are in favor for Scarlet as they tie things up. A play off the back wall, it's 3-3.
And a great read off the sidewall. Sleppy crossing that one over top of the front post defender. Excellent placement. Throwing that one onto the back wall, finding real estate. Not too high for his teammate to play, but just far enough across so that Tennis Master can't make a play. Well and truly, a perfect executed play there.
That perfectly executed play will bring them back even in this game. They said it looked scary, being down 3-1 so early. They said it's not quite scary enough. I guess they've got to get ready for Halloween, right, Squid? So they're trying to play these scary games. Comes back, 3-3. Minute 15 to go. This one's going to bounce down in front. Vortex into the blue zone. There's Tennis Master. Now Vortex out in front. Sleppy to challenge. Rem will get the clear. Massiter has to hustle back. Could be an opportunity for Penn State, but Massiter's first to get there.
And I will note, it looks like that initial touch from Rem was a potential open net shot, and now a scramble here for OSU. Off the back wall, could turn into a pass, and Tennis Master going for the bump, but was unsupported. Rem too far back for that one. And Penn State looks like they're starting to get scared of OSU. They don't want to commit 3 players. Now Massiter off the back wall. Can't put that one on target or get the pass back to Vortex. Breaks up the play for Ohio State, but I love to see they're trying to make use of those backboard plays. Here's another one. Massiter with no support in the mid. And Penn State move back downfield. Tennis Master off the crossbar, down and in finally. After what seemed like an eternity for that ball to be bouncing on the goal line.
This is Tennis Master once again. He gets his hat trick in the game. Great solo effort, almost a clear from Scarlet. Penn State claw their way back to that 1-goal lead yet again. Only 29 seconds left to go. We'll see if they can hold on to it as Vortex takes a quick shot. Tennis Master the save. Sleppy out of the corner. Sharp angle. Good clear from Rem. Still 18 seconds to go, and that is a solid clear. Going to waste a lot of time.
Vortex didn't pick up on that position either. Could have been a chance there. Great denied by Tennis Master, but there's still a chance for Ohio State if they can control it, but they don't. And Rem going to punish hard for it. Taking a lead of 2 with only 6 to go.
This just looks like a misplay by the defense. Sleppy thinking Massiter has it. Massiter thinking Massiter has it, and he doesn't. Unfortunate for them. So it's 5-3 now. Only 6 seconds left to go. Kickoff goal is necessary. Here's a chance, but it's bit too little, too late. So Penn State pick up game one of this crucial series. One for the road for Scarlet, 5-4 final score. But the win is the most important part, and Penn State pick it up.
It is the most important part. Penn State looks strong, I will admit, in the first half of that game, but it really just speaks more volumes to how strong Ohio State were able to come back in this second bit. Because to be honest, I mean, if we're just looking at the last 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes gameplay, I think OSU actually outscores Penn State, surprisingly enough. So those couple of first goals may not have necessarily told the whole story that Ohio State Scarlet roster is trying to tell.
Well, it did, unfortunately, lead to their defeat in game number one, but I have to agree with you. I don't think that that is all that we're going to see from Ohio State Scarlet. They're not a team that's just going to roll over and die in this series, especially up against a team as close to them in the standings as Penn State. But you have to give Penn credit here because they took the lead that they had. Granted, it ended up being tied, but they allowed their momentum, especially in the late game, to carry them to that victory. We saw they were really aggressive early on. It got them a couple of goals. They backed off a little bit with that buffer, and eventually that led them to playing more comfortably, it felt like, than OSU did in those final moments.
Yeah, and I do want to emphasize what you just said. They pulled back, and they were playing that buffer near the end of the game. Obviously, you know, it's always nice to be playing aggressive offense the whole game and just putting shot after shot after shot on target. But showing that you have that restraint when it's necessary to make sure that your opponents don't catch you off guard is an incredibly valuable asset to just about any team. So, truly commendable, as you mentioned. But game number 2 now on the drawing board. Ohio State looking to come back from that game 1 loss, and I have to say, they're making a pretty good case for why they should be still considered in this series.
Certainly only one game has gone, and we have a potential for 4 more. Would not be surprised if it takes all 5 between these two teams. We've got to let the Rocket League play. Game number 2 is now underway. Tennis Master, the hero of game 1 for Penn State, had a hat trick in that game. He's looking to make his mark here in game 2. They're on offense early. Frau out of the corner. Sleppy towards Vortex. Rem's going to play it off of him. Tennis Master turns, kick hit by Masseter. A little bit of confusion out in front of the Penn State goal, but that ball deflected high and cleared. Solid defense from Penn State.
Well and truly. Was excellently played by the Penn State players, but I have to say I love the continuation by Ohio State, and now here's Masseter, forces that one up high. Master was able to get it, but they're still on the attack. Rem, excellent clear off the back wall, making sure that one doesn't get anywhere close to home, and they'll push out.
Great block from Tennis Master on that play. Gives Frau a chance. Tough angle. Good save by Sleppy. Tennis Master one more shot, and Vortex will make the save. 2 shots for Penn State. 1 so far registered for Scarlet. Here's another opportunity. Vortex is up for it, but that one's going to be pushed well wide. Rem can't quite get the clear. Can't get it by Sleppy. Tennis Master on the goal line trying to make a play. Gets enough of it to force that all the way across the box, and a clear from Rem. You can see it's such a different game than the first series that we saw. And we, again, we talked so much about how important the back wall play is. Both of these teams seem to have that down to a T.
And as you say it, I honestly have to say, not the play I was expecting here. Definitely a good angle by Masseter, but when Rem was coming across the net, I did not even come close to envisioning that as a goal. So I'm going to chalk that one up to a bit of a misplay, but Ohio State will gladly take it. I have no doubt so that Penn State will be able to come back from that one.
It looked like Rem was under a little bit of pressure there, or potentially he panicked on that play. Hit it a little bit too early, and it does end up in a Scarlet 1-0 lead. But here's Frau to try to tie it. Masseter's there. Great save on the goal line. Keeps his team up by 1. Not out of danger yet, but Vortex relieves at least a little bit of the pressure for now.
Yeah, brilliant save. Then Sleppy passing down to Vortex in the middle of their own half. And again, I'm going to point out their synergy has been one of their primary attributes that you got to consider when you're playing against them. Getting that clear downfield, just the 1-2, to give them a little bit of space. So important.
Masseter waits out Frau for that ball. Goes by Rem as well. He's going to steal the back boost and rotate back as he allows Vortex to try to play this towards. Good play from Tennis Master down towards Rim. Solid touch, but Massiter has the return. Gets it by Frau. Sleppy out in front. Not going to beat the defenders, but does get enough on it. Vortex up. He'll take the shot. It's not quite hard enough. Just saved away by Frau. Shot Vortex is going to want back. He had a yawning cage, and he couldn't quite put it home.
And so much time as well. What with that pretty well defended net, however, that one's going to be a wonderful shot. Sleppy taking it from Vortex, moving downfield, and again, the OSU synergy showing itself.
That is just a wonderful pass. This time, perfect amount of speed from Vortex on that play. He's got himself 2 assists in this game. 1 goal for each of his teammates. So again, spreading the love is OSU on the offensive side of the ball. Vortex wins that challenge against Tennis Master on the following kickoff. Now Penn State, they find themselves down by 2, minute 45 to go. Rem wants to put one on. That's good clear from Sleppy right to Massiter. Now Vortex up for it. This one's towards, but it is just wide. And again, the transitional play so important for Scarlet, and they are clicking with it.
They absolutely are. Their midfield presence has been so much stronger this game. Penn State haven't nearly had the kinds of opportunities they had in game number 1. And it's showing with having no goal on the board, obviously. But here in the final 75 seconds of gameplay now, we've got a completely even shot count. And it looks like Tennis Master will put up the first mark for Penn State. As I mentioned earlier, I expected them to put a little bit up of a fight here in the late game.
And that is a pure and true giveaway by Vortex. Bumps his teammate out of the way, bumps the ball right to Tennis Master, and Tennis Master makes no mistake on the shot. Brings it ever closer now. 1 goal lead for Scarlet. Still plenty of time, just about 65 seconds remaining here in game 2. Frau tries to play this down to Rem, but that's going to catch him off. That's on target. We're back to a 2-goal lead for Scarlet.
And it was a great play, Penn State, they finally pushed down, made that 1 goal happen, and it got reversed in 18 seconds real time. Yeah, definitely not the spot that you want to be in. There's still time for them to come back from that one, but it's going to be a little bit of a demoralizer. Here, again, in the late game, the 1 minute mark just barely passed at the time of kickoff. A good touch by Vortex to move it downfield, and Ohio State looking to close this one out.
50 seconds, all they have to do is waste that time, keep the lead where it's at, but they've got to play defense now. Frau looking for a touch. The bump is perfect. Penn State, they get the goal they needed, and now they only need 1 more. 39 seconds left to do it.
This is just so well done. Frau didn't honestly even need to touch that ball, just need to be in the air to present that clear and present threat to the defender, trying to focus on where is Frau going to hit this ball, where do I need to move to, and suddenly you're out of the play entirely. Rem has taken you out of the equation completely. 35 seconds, and Penn State still with plenty of life here, but on their back foot. 30 seconds now, and Vortex has no trouble putting that one home, punishing off that backboard play.
And this looks like another bump play as well. You can see Frau in the corner. I don't know if he had what it took to get there anyway, but the bump clears him out entirely. Tennis Master, not the greatest touch on the back wall. Puts his team back in a tough position now. 27 seconds left. 2 goals needed by Penn State. It feels like they get so close, but just unfortunate touches or missed clears hurting them now, and it looks like Scarlet's going to tie things up.
It does seem that way. Scarlet playing a much better game than last time around. I think I touched base on earlier in game number 1, the synergy did not look like it was there nearly in as much force as we usually see it. That is not the case here. They definitely came together as a team and managed to make so many more passing plays, not necessarily even for shots on target, but just transitioning downfield as a unit. Overall, just a much better executed game by the Ohio State roster.
And it is interesting to look at shots in this game. Only one shot difference between the 2 teams. And again, it didn't feel like Penn State was ever out of the game, but it felt like, oh, they're doing good. They got that goal. They only need 1 more. Here's the momentum. And all of a sudden it's a bad defensive play or a misclear or a challenge they lose in mid and everything comes crashing back down again. It's almost like they're trying to build up that structure and they just can't quite do it in this game. Much different than game 1. which I felt like they controlled that from beginning to end. We'll see if they can do it in game 3. But if Scarlet maintains this kind of, I wouldn't call it aggressive play, but it's almost like a blanket. They're just trying to take any momentum away from Penn State, and if they keep that going, then it's going to be a tough road for the blue team.
Well, we did just have a bit of a server issue, but besides that, I have to agree with you overall. And here's what I'm going to say about that, because Penn State, obviously, they had those 1 or 2 defensive errors. As you mentioned earlier, they always seem to just be that so close, that 1 or 2 goals away for most of that game. And, we didn't see that nearly in game 1. You said it was so much different, and it well and truly was. OSU looks so much more confident. And I almost feel like this can all be traced back to the first goal that was scored. If we recall, Penn State were the ones to open up the scorebooks in the first game. Ohio State, on the other hand, were the ones to do so in game number 2. So perhaps that lead is the one thing that kind of shifted the momentum, because we saw Ohio State played so much more confident as a team. As I like to say, they were working as a complete unit, cohesive in just about every way. There were 1 or 2 mistakes, but aside from that. And then Penn State, on the other hand, their defense wasn't necessarily as well put together. It almost seemed like they were getting caught a little bit, as you said, on the transitions. So that first goal may have had a lot more implications for the later game than one may initially think, and it might be important to look out for who gets the first one in here in game 3.
Yeah, first goal definitely going to be important, but I like the fact that you used the T word there in transitional play. It is what...
Thank you. Big words. Big words.
It is what Ohio State utilized in that game to give them pretty much every goal they scored. It really felt like they were quick on transitioning from defense to offense, and that is a much better improvement over what they showed from us in game 1. We'll see if they continue here. Game 3 underway. Let's see who does score this first goal. Vortex has an opportunity off the ceiling and in. Scarlet take the first goal 12 seconds in.
And thank you, Vortex, for now putting this kind of shot in the mainstream, because nobody appreciates the danger of actually hitting the ball off the ceiling and down instead of just trying to angle it off the floor. Thank you very much. The backboard defender unable to do much with that ball. People, please start respecting that kind of touch, because it will burn you at least once.
Certainly the man to watch on that goal was Vortex there, Squid.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. I will give you that.
There's a clear from Vortex. Tennis Master going to pop this up. Sleppy towards the net. Frau gets popped. That's another goal for Scarlet. 2-0, only 34 seconds in.
And this turned all the way from a textbook defensive play into an absolute cacophony. Frau just going to turn on that one. It's just another stroll in the park, No big deal, just another day. And suddenly, nope, all right, you're gone. Congratulations, you have just been scored on. And I have to say, being bumped might be one of the most frustrating ways to get scored on in Rocket League.
It certainly, especially when you're not expecting it. Typically, that's how bumps work in these higher level play. Or in these higher level games, I should say. Players are quite good at avoiding bumps in demos, but sometimes they are unavoidable. Frau getting demoed this time as well. Can open up some space for Masseter to try to keep it in. Look for a shot towards the net, but Frau's there. Off the respawn to clear it back down. Out in front, Tennis Master. This is high. Rem is there. Shot. Just saved away. Vortex and Sleppy combining to make that play. Tennis Master shot. Another save from Sleppy. Keeps it 2-0.
I think that was the most crafty play I've seen to date. What a slip shot defense. They managed to put it together. They won't be able to get that one away. Frau sends it through. But oh my goodness, they managed to waste so much time. What was that, Hunter?
How does the air dribble beat them here? After the 2 wonderful saves that we see, Sleppy just can't quite reach that. I think he was at a boost, to be quite honest, after those 2 early saves. So,
because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to break all the Champ 3 players' hearts out there, but I'm going to say it, air dribbles don't work against defended nets, as a general rule. I mean, if there's only one guy there, maybe you got a chance, but if there's 2 or more, you just don't even try. It's not going to work unless you're trying to waste time. So I'm going to throw that out there. I don't think that should have worked, so Sleppy being out of boost seems like the most plausible theory to me, but any actual analysis aside, I want to talk about Masseter's car. I have to appreciate the dedication to the Watermelon team.
I do like the watermelon. The watermelon wheels have always had a soft spot
We're so happy.
in my heart. We'll see how he utilizes said wheels. His team's already got a 2-1 lead. He hasn't had a goal or an assist yet in this game. He's actually been rather quiet. We'll see if he can come to the forefront here, but they just need to continue to play the way they have been. They've got a 2-1 lead as halftime approaches now in Game 3. Again, this series tied up at 1. It is a best of 5, so we've got, at the very least, another game after this one, potentially 2 more. And this, if you are just joining us, a very, very important series for both teams.
Yeah, we're going to reiterate 6-6 for OSU's Scarlet roster, which you're seeing right now. 5-6 for Penn State. Both of them sitting right on the edge of the playoff berth. That was a close call there. Oh, Massiter putting on the fake. Slamming the brakes right there. Yeah, that almost worked. I'm actually surprised. You know, the fake wasted a lot of time and allowed his teammates some time to reset at the midfield, but almost made it work as well for a goal for.
Here's a chance for Frau. He can't beat Sleppy. Still dangerously in front of the box. Ram off the back wall. Tennis Master! Vortex makes the save. Frau to challenge Massiter, keeps the ball in. But the saves have been the name of the game for Scarlet in this one. They have somehow kept their 1-goal lead on the back of all of that. Great demo on the by Tennis Master onto Vortex to take away that shooting opportunity. Now back into the orange zone. Rem looking for Tennis Master off the ceiling. Good play. Comes out in front. Sleppy to clear. Frau tries to control. Trying to turn it around. Doesn't have the boost or the momentum to make that play. And Penn State, they've got to crack this defense.
Yeah, and I think it really is an interesting variation that we haven't really talked about. Ohio State playing a much more defensively minded game so far here in Game 3. And a great bump by Sleppy could open the door for Massiter. He will be denied. But I have to point out, Sleppy holding down the fort with 5 saves already this game. With 40 seconds left, it looks like Ohio State might win by virtue of unbreakable defense.
We've got 35 seconds remaining. All that they need to kill to take this victory, but Rem has other ideas. He'll slot it home. We're tied at 2 with 30 seconds to go.
And Hunted, I have to say, I don't know why I even bothered saying anything, but great speed by Rem. Being the first player to react to that with 2 OSU defenders waiting down there in the box trying to get that one away. A major shout out there to Vortex trying to get up to that backboard. Such a difficult read from the position that he was in. Incredibly difficult, but now Penn State, who've been putting on a lot of the pressure so far, going to see if they can win this one in regulation. Only 18 seconds in a pretty bad position here for Ohio State.
Battling back from a 2-0 deficit early in this game. Penn State have tied things up. Might have a chance here. Net is open. Frau will score. Somehow Penn State do it 3-2 with only 4 seconds to go.
And I have to say, we got to address the elephant in the room. That whiff can absolutely not happen at any point during this series. The fact that it comes here in one of the most clutch moments. Again, this is the swing game in this best of 5. We're tied at 1, and now Penn State have just secured their second win that they need 3 of. Oh my goodness, that is just, I have to say,
It's
my heart is broken.
Way to lose, certainly. But Squid, look at the shot totals. I feel like we talk about this every game, but it tells such a story. OSU had 2 goals on 3 shots. That's not enough. Granted, it was they got the first 2 goals. They almost held on to it, but you need to start shooting more. You mentioned it. They were playing a much different game. They played a very defensive game this time. Don't know why. Their aggressive play was working before. All of a sudden now Penn State come back. They tie it up. A big whiff. Final moments. Penn State take the victory. And now if you're OSU, it's time to put everything that just happened out of your mind. You've got to play the next 2.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to say, you know, Ohio State playing a much more defensive game. The Buckeyes making that judgment call. I have to agree with them, though. When they took that first 2-0 lead, you know, it just seemed most logical to make these defensive plays, and they had some miraculous touches on the goal line to get the ball away from their own net. So overall, I feel like I support them in that decision, but I agree, the offense still has to be present. I mean, that is one of their strongest suits. So when they're not trying to actively make plays down the field, it kind of makes you question what their whole strategy is. But now in Game 4, they cannot afford to only play the defense. They have to take control of this game if they want to grab a win in this series.
Well, game number 4 looks to be underway. And Frau has an early shooting opportunity. Masseter with the clear. Rem, quick shot towards the net. That one's wide. Sluffy clears it away either way. Here's a pass looking for Rem. Masseter gets there to block that one away, but we can't get it out of the zone. Frau goes underneath Sleppy. Can Tennis Master beat Vortex to this one? Does keep it in the zone, and Penn State off to a quick start.
Nice touch there from Masseter. But you said it, Penn State want to keep on the offense here. No double touch from Rem, and a good reset chance here now for the Buckeyes. And again, we need to see OSU take control of this game, otherwise they're going to be in dire straits, and they are right here. Masseter will get the read, though, making the clutch play this time around.
Here comes Penn State out of the corner. Frau is up for this one. He's got Rem looking to make a touch, but Sleppy is there first. Bouncer out in front. That one's easily cleared away, and Penn State go back towards the offensive side. Masseter, slight touch. Tennis Master's there. Down towards Rem. Underneath the defender. Pops it way up. Frau not going for it. He was on his way back to play defense. Not surprising. We talked about how offensive these two teams can be, but as you get into these later games, as Tennis Master is going to have an open net to shoot at, I do just want to say that I would not be surprised if this is a much more defensive game from both teams.
I would not be surprised either, especially now for Penn State as they have this first goal for the lead. But I am disappointed that the second touch from Rem confusing the defenders, so I won't chalk that one up to being a whiff on the defensive side. Just an unfortunate situation. Great 50-50 by Vortex, but nobody's there to follow it up, unfortunately. Would have dropped right in front of the net. Penn State, cut off by Vortex, taking that passing lane right out of the equation and turning it into a goal.
Can't quite tell if this is a giveaway from Tennis Master or just a really smart play from Vortex. Either way, the ball ends up in the back of the net. Certainly not what Tennis Master intended with that play. But we are all square with 3:24 left to go in an all-important game number 4. Penn State have the 2-1 series lead. Scarlet trying to force a game number 5. Got the goal they needed to tie things up. They've got to play defense here. Look it by Sleppy. Rem not able to get the touch. Sleppy has an opportunity now on the offensive side. Demoing Frau. Masseter's up for it. He's got Vortex in mid looking for the pass. That one's just a bit out of his reach, so he'll pop it up instead. Played hard towards the pitch by Frau, and they will eventually find a little bit of a clear. Tennis Master's going to see to it.
Definitely a good heads-up play by Vortex as well. A double demo on the play was perfectly set up. Master with the pass in the center, but Vortex could not get the shot angle. Opted to pop it up instead of committing for the shot. Very, very well played to not get that red vision and make sure that his teammates are going to be able to follow up in the event that something goes wrong. Just past the half now, and we're still at a tie game. Could go either way. And again, nobody can really afford to overcommit here. And you mentioned it earlier on, Hunt, that we might see a bit more of a defensive game as a result.
It's a bouncer. Masseter can't get by Rem. They'll stay in the blue corner as Frau goes by the first defender. There's a pass out to Tennis Master. He was looking for Frau on the breakout pass. But it turns back. There's Masseter off the ceiling. Doesn't do much with it. This one goes way up high. Falling towards the blue net. Frau first one there. Vortex, however, looking for the pass to Masseter. He's up. Can he get the angle? Rem blocking that one away. It was a solid shot from Masseter. Had shot on goal opportunity, but Rem makes the clear. And eventually, we find our way back through mid. It's really going to come down to who makes that first poor touch in mid.
It truly is. OSU presently on the attack, but they're not committing all 3 of their players. We've seen a couple of interesting dynamic changes so far this game. Good pass in the center. Vortex will plant it home. Nicely done on a well-defended PSU net. I did not expect that to go through.
Well, you said that they weren't committing all 3 of their players, and as soon as they saw the double commit from the Penn State defense, they activated their third player. It was Vortex this time. He finds the back of the net. He's got both goals for Scarlet in this game. Not looking to slow down. They need this victory again to force a game 5.
And now the question remains, are we going to see OSU try to turtle up again? It didn't work for them last time, but it was due to a personal mechanical error, so they could very well make this one work.
The touch towards Frau. Bouncing shot. That's well high. Rem to follow it up. Doesn't get the touch on it. Was expecting Vortex to play it. As now Vortex goes by Tennis Master. The pass out towards Sleppy. Back to Vortex. Both players are committed. This could be dangerous. It's a 3-on-1 the other way. Frau doesn't get the touch, as Masseter does find the clear. That was an opportunity for Penn State. They're going to want that back.
Yeah, a difficult angle nonetheless, but still, Frau had that opportunity. They remain on the offense, though. Still a chance. Frau losing that 50-50 to the corner. Does get bumped away as well, and a great touch there. Masseter blocking that one into the blue end, keeping it there as well. The pass to Vortex, and they're going to do more than just defend. They push their lead to 2.
The transition play. This time, it was more Penn State scrambling to try to get back on defense after a committed offensive attack. Vortex gets his hat trick in the game. He's got 5 shots registered, 3 of them goals. Looks like he will be leading his team to victory here in Game 4. We'll have one final game of Rocket League to decide the series between Penn State and Ohio State Scarlet. This one's really come down to the wire. It's hard to predict who will take game number 5, as both teams really squid. They've gone back and forth, especially in the shot department. It felt like Scarlet had a majority of the offensive opportunities. But Penn State, they've shown that they can play and bring their offensive game when it's necessary. But they've got to do it in Game 5. You cannot get behind early.
Yeah, no, I don't think... well, I do think that's going to stay true. I don't think that they can afford to get behind early. Obviously, they got the first goal of this game, but they weren't able to expand upon that lead. So definitely not helping in that department. But I really feel like it's going to come down to whoever has more offensive presence in this next game. I know it's a bit of a cop-out answer, because obviously that's going to be the case. But it's really been the historical accuracy for this series that just whoever's spending more time on the offense generally have the more opportunities to make the passing plays. And Penn State has shown that they can contend even with the Ohio State synergy. You know, we saw that Season 1, Season 2, Ohio State. They were out there making passing plays. They still are, but they are getting hotly contested by their opposition in this series.
Yeah, I mean, just to your point of offense, it hasn't been close in any of the games, which is the odd part. It's been quite one-sided typically between these teams, and it doesn't look like things are going to change anytime soon. So to your point, whoever plays the best offense, whoever comes out and is hot on the offensive side of the ball, has won all 4 games so far. So who's going to say that it's not going to be different in Game 5? We're just going to have to find out. We're underway. Well,
I would like for either of these teams to prove me wrong, because to be honest, I'd love for a Game 5 OT here. But I will say, at the beginning of the series, all means aside, I did say everyone but Vortex was the player to watch. I gotta give Vortex credit, because he's been doing well for his team this series so far, especially in that last game.
Well, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Who do you think is going to win this important Game 5? Make sure to tweet at us using the hashtag CRL19. Cheer for your favorite team. Let us know how you feel about this one. Sleppy trying to clear this ball away. Tennis Master will challenge him. Vortex eventually a hard touch down the pitch. Rem has to play it into his corner. Goes by Vortex. Now Sleppy bouncer towards the blue net. Frau might have an opportunity. Gets by Masseter. This is in the corner, but a solid clear from Sleppy is going to take things down a notch here early on.
Things, indeed slowing down. In the downtime, we might mention once again that this is a very important match for playoff berths.
Oh,
in the future, that's a slow ball, but nobody from the Ohio State side can get an angle on it. It was just that close to the post. So will we get sent away? The air drag denied by Sleppy rather easily. But oh my goodness, play definitely slowing down here in the off lane, it seems.
And just to follow up on what you said, very important game for both teams, vying for that top 8 spot. They are separated by 1 game, 1 spot, and 1 goal now in Game 5 as OSU take the lead.
And a great shot placement here by Sleppy. Vortex trying to force the issue. That one straight into the upper 90. Not much that Rem can do about that one. Any other spot, any farther to the right, and Rem probably would have had that save. So absolutely crucial that you get that accuracy, and well done by Sleppy.
Brings OSU to a 1-0 lead. 2 minutes just about gone by now as Vortex plays this hard off the back wall. Rem can't quite reach it. There's Frau. Touches it, looking for Tennis Master. Now Rem into the corner. Tennis Master was going for the bump. Instead, it's Rem to win the challenge over top of Masseter, but Sleppy's there for the clear. Out of the corner now. Masseter out in front. No follow-up. Rem to Tennis Master. Tennis Master the touch to Frau. Vortex is there to cut that ball off before it moved into a dangerous spot for his team. The OSU defense holding strong for now, but they've still got just about half a game of Rocket League to play. Not letting up another goal.
There's some great fortitude on that last defense as well. Frau came up, I believe, scoring a demo against one of the defenders. Now Rem up to Frau. It's a bit slow in front of the net, and Masseter barely makes it. Now 2 players for Penn State up in the air. Vortex is there, back out in front, but there's nobody on the other side of the ball, and Penn State will have to approach once again. One gets banged all the way downfield. Solid defense by OSU. Transitioned into a goal. Sleppy puts his second one of the game through.
And this whole play starts because of the double commit on the offensive side of the ball. Rem and Frau both go up for it. It ends up in the opposite corner, and they can't hustle back in time to stop that play from Sleppy. And it's miscommunication from Penn State that's been a killer throughout the series. It continues to rear its head here in Game 5. It puts them down 2 goals now. They've got to score a goal a minute if they want to send us to overtime.
Ohio State combining a couple of aspects of their previous play styles into one, taking the defense that they had from Game 3 and transitioning straight into offense that we've seen them so strong in so far. Another demo. Nobody's back home. But Rem tosses that one up high. It's up the back wall. Frau goes up and can't make the touch. There's no boost in the tank, and Penn State have absolutely got to make something happen here within the next 30 seconds, so they're going to be in very dire straits.
Here's Tennis Master, gets by the first defender. Masseter's there to cover up for his teammate. Now Rem out of the corner, and again the rotation, looking sloppy from Penn State, and it's an easy clear. Masseter, the double off the back wall, makes it 3-0, and it's the transition play off a poor rotation on offense from Penn State. Scarlet making full use of their opportunities.
Crossing the T's and dotting the I's. Masseter taking that pass on the transition once again. I mentioned it. Ohio State playing that solid defense, but also punishing where they have the opportunity, not just opting to turtle up this game. They want to make sure that Penn State are well and truly defeated before we arrive at the end of regulation, if they can help it. And another clear from Vortex. Every touch that moves downfield is going to be that much more of a heartbreaker for Penn State. Rem making the save. Masseter for the follows. That one saved away as well, but they need more than defense to save this game at this point.
Let's see if they can generate any kind of offense now. Frau deflects towards the net. Easily cleared away by Vortex. Tennis Master tries to keep it in. Goes right to the bumper of Sleppy. Clears it back. Good pass from Rem to Frau. Sleppy has to go up to make an awkward touch. Comes down in front. All 3 players are there. This is on target. It's 4-0.
Vortex going to get a goal this game to add on to his numerous other stat lines so far, 2 assists and 3 saves as he sits on top of the scoreboard. And I mean, looking at the shot count, completely even. This is something that we actually talked about in between games, and not necessarily the case for most of this series with these teams, but I really feel like it's just the transitions from Ohio State that have been increasingly effective as time goes on. I think that makes 3 transition goals if you count that last one as a transition goal, which kind of up for debate, I suppose. But I think it's just about decided now.
That it is. 5-0 in favor of Ohio State's Scarlet. They're going to take the victory in the series in game number 5. And it is well deserved by them. Like I said, they have utilized every opportunity afforded to them in game 5. They have not missed their mark on just about any touches. they will walk away with the victory. An all-important one that could potentially propel them to the top 8, to that playoff stage to play for a chance at LAN. As the ball slowly makes its way towards the pitch, that will do it. Game in the books. OSU Scarlet take the victory in the series 3-2. Squid, I've got to get your thoughts on what you thought of that Game 5.
That Game 5, to me, was, until OSU scored that second goal, it was really up in the air, but afterwards, it was really all Ohio State, because they knew that they could just transition it straight downfield. And I talked about it, the last 3 goals, which at the time was, I believe the scoreline was 4-0, so goals 2, 3, and 4 were basically all Ohio State, just punishing Penn State for being too aggressive and trying to make that offensive play. So they really, like I said, they incorporated their best defense from game number 3 into the transitional play and the passes that we saw from basically the rest of the series that they were able to play. And that was a truly beautiful combination, as it paid many, many dividends here. The record moving on to 7-6, and that playoff spot's looking all the more easy for them, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And I just have to say, to me, it felt like Penn State choked this game. They choked it away. They had the offense that they needed. They were generating possession in the offensive zone. But I don't know. I kind of lost track of how many times I counted a poor rotation, a cut of the third man in instead of rotating out and letting his player play the ball. They would cut it off. The double commits on the offensive side of the ball, and you wonder why OSU is scoring these transition goals. It's purely based on the fact that the rotation was. You can't call it anything other than what it was, and it was horrendous, in my opinion, for Penn State in that game. None of the other games looked that bad on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Maybe the pressure got to them. Maybe they were, trying to score as quickly as possible. But it's a learning opportunity for them, because you can see clear as day the mistakes they made on the offensive side in that rotation.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm giving a bunch of praise out to Ohio State. You bring up the other side of that argument, which is Penn State, they kind of did let it happen. That's just the way that it goes sometimes. I'm just gonna say that at the beginning of this series, I predicted that Scarlet was gonna win, so I'm gonna feel good about that one. I'm gonna take that one to my grave. But that's the end for that series. Once again, OSU Scarlet moving to a 7-6 record. 2 more matches for them to be played in the season. We'll see if they catch that playoff berth. But we do actually have a tweet. So let's get that one up on the screen. Let's see what you guys had to say to us. Hello, College Carbol. I'm Def Jam. I think CRL 19 is very good right now. Please read this for me. Well, I guess.
Well, it has been read.
It's been read.
Read
check that one off, boys.
Squid.
Say that again?
I said it was read by the wonderful Squid. So there you go.
Wait, the wonderful Squid is here? I only saw the regular one. Okay, all right.
Well, again, if you want to see your tweet here on the stream, make sure you use the hashtag CRL19. And we can put that up there for you. But we are going to take a very short break. On the other side of that, we will get into the Western Conference, where, again, some high-stakes games coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. Using the hashtag CRL19, get your thoughts heard. You can show up on stream here potentially, but we are underway. Game number 1, and that is a quick goal by the man in the pitch.